Playing Amol Kumbal from India. Okay, played knight f6 against c4. Maybe we'll get a Nimzo Indian. I'll allow it. The bishop pin is the Nimzo. He didn't play it, but that's fine. I'll just keep developing. No pressure on the center, so I can develop any way I want. And I'll just set up the same kind of pawn structure I usually do. So I could go ahead and take here. Save me a tempo from putting my bishop here and having him take. And let's see, he has an outlet for his bishop. Let's make it a little difficult for his bishop to find a good square. And then I have the possibility of a minority attack here with the 2 pawns against the 3. Let's go ahead and get castled. Now, let's see, I could put the rook here and go for the minority attack immediately. Would save, maybe save a tempo over playing a3, b4, a4, you know. I can just hit b4 directly. And he's been moving his pieces over to the king side, which is interesting. I don't think I'm weak enough on the king side that I have to worry, really. And his pieces may be misplaced if it turns into a queen side attack over here. So anyway, he paused to think after this move. He decided to play a non-committal h6. Okay, so I push immediately with b5. He takes, I take with the rook. I've got pressure on the b pawn. I take with the knight. I'm looking at this square. Let's go ahead and get the a-pawn up there too. I'm not sure. Okay, he repositioned his bishop. We are going for it. I guess the other way I could take back, I was wondering about knight or rook, but I could also take back with the bishop, hitting his rook here, although he could block with the bishop, so maybe that turns into not very much. So he's hitting my knight. It's important to keep that defended. So I just took it. Okay. Now I am, I'm just going to take here. I guess he has to take back with the bishop. No, he doesn't want to. Okay. I just brought his bishop there for safekeeping, I guess. So let's neutralize his good bishop here if we can. See if he wants to save it. Doesn't mind trading it off. Okay, and I'll bring my other rook over here. Maintain pressure on the c-pawn. This is the kind of position you're actually looking for in the minority attack. I think it's better for me to keep the queens on. Now, if I go here and he takes, this is too well defended. I can't really do much about it, but I can hop in here with my knight. Okay, so he decided to just sacrifice a pawn, take his bishop first, because that has the effect of pinning this pawn, right? If he takes this pawn, I'll take his rook with check. He takes, I'll take with check. So yeah, so he takes the knight. And I take back here. Maybe he doesn't get to keep the... I don't get to keep the pawn, I mean. He can actually take it with the knight. Yeah, let's hit his queen then. Pin the knight. I don't know. Okay, so he did manage to let me win the pawn. I don't know if that was deserved. I don't think it was somehow. Okay. Can defend like this. So I could take. Now, if I go here and he takes, I take. I want to create a weak. Oh, I can't take back. I want to create a weak pawn in the center, ideally. I want his pawn to be weak, not mine. See, if I abandon this pawn, he can take, but I could push this one. Plus, this is hitting the rook. So he lifted up off the back rank. If he takes, I have the check. Does it really do much? Let's threaten his queen. Okay, we'll take here with check first. Then we'll push this pawn. If I push and he takes here, and then he can take here. If I take, then his queen can take. But I guess I don't have a choice. So maybe I should have just grabbed the extra pawn there. He can check, and I'll go here, but I can promote pretty quickly. So I think this is going to turn out okay for me. Let's see, he moved too quickly, and I used up all my time. So he got into trouble but now I'm in time trouble too. I lost this guy the last time I played him, so maybe that's what happened. He made a tricky position and won on time. Well, now he has all the time he wants to think about it. But I imagine it's hopeless. We can check this out with the chess engine afterwards. Let's see if there was anything here. Your opponent left the game. Okay, so he's just going to... I will certainly claim victory when he times out here. That's really poor sportsmanship. Playing blindingly fast, trying to win on time, and then when that fails, you let your time run out. Okay, that's a win. Let's see, just a quick turn of this. Yeah, so +5. His best bet is to go for the race, okay? I was briefly showing queen takes, but now it shows mate in 45, mate in 32. So now it's just looking for the fastest mate, but clearly won. Okay, well, let's see. We can get a rapid game now. That was a nice Blitz game. Let's play a rapid game. So I played d4 that time. Let's try knight f3. That's knight c3. Okay, knight c3 is a move I never play. Okay, we'll continue with this. Guess I wasn't entirely awake when I started. Okay. Do I want to play d4 and block the queen's bishop, or e4? I can play e4 because it's supported by the knight. And bring my light squared bishop out on this diagonal. Yeah, we'll try it. And then maybe I could play e5 at some point to annoy my opponent. And the bishop could come out to either this square, or maybe even this square, depending. Knight here, bishop out, and castle. Don't even have to push the d pawn until I'm ready. Oh, he can take there already, huh? Okay, I was wrong. I take the knight, he takes the bishop. And do I get anything clever after that? I think I'm just down a pawn, but if I don't take, he takes, I take, he takes, he messes up my pawns, so I have an empty center here. Let's see, going here directly, or here. Go here, and he could trade bishops and leave his knight hanging there. Okay. Well, at least his queen can't come out and check me. Oh, he just retreats. Oh, my. Let's keep developing. Maybe we can get something here with quick development. I kind of assumed he would just trade bishops. Okay, so bishop here, he could just push the d pawn. Bishop here also may run into b5 later. Now let's go here where it's not so easily attacked. And castle. Well, I seem to have a grip on the dark squares. Let's see if we can maintain that. He wants to come in here and chase my bishop, huh? Okay, we'll start by preventing his knight from hopping in here. Comes in here, we'll trade it. This does give him the ability to play E5, threatening the fork. No, it doesn't. The bishop takes. Bishop and knight are both on that square, or knight takes. He cannot play e5. Okay, good. I thought I intended to maintain control over e5. And my first instinct was to play here, but then I didn't want his knight coming in here chasing my bishop. So let's play like this. And it looks like I still keep e5, although he can, move his knight here. I can kick it back. Okay, he's bringing his queen out. Once again, I want to keep e5 under control. So he can come here with his knight now. I can, I don't know, I guess I have to play, g6 if he brings his knight here to prevent the mate. Oh, the knight's defending against the mate too. So it seems he didn't like he didn't like my knight coming back here, maybe. Or maybe he's trying to shut down my bishop. I could play, if I play c3, he takes, and I take with the knight, then my bishop is hanging. I could take with the pawn, though. Let's get a square on c4 for my knight. I didn't want him kicking my knight, although he can't do it now. At some point, maybe he could kick my knight away. Let's see, queen here actually threatens to, no, his knight is defending it. Knight back here threatens to take this pawn. But then he could play e5. So do I want to provoke e5? think I'd like to just take care of that pawn simply. Gonna take back with the pawn here. Well, he's got to do something at this point. Otherwise, I can just take this pawn and back to even. Is that true? Actually, my pawn structure would still be kind of messed up. If he played, I take knight takes pawn, he would play knight takes knight, I take back. And I did win the pawn, but I've got these weird doubled pawns here on the d file. Probably no getting back to even here. So I guess if he leaves it there, I'll take with the pawn, keeping control over the, regaining their control over the e5 square. So he does that. I don't mind. You want to trade? And he did play e5, so I could go knight here. To this square. He probably would just trade it off, though. Take back with the bishop, and I'm hitting here. If I take here, he'll take with the knight. If I take with the... Oh, he left this undefended. When did that happen? Oh, when he played here, he went bishop g4. I forced the trade, or offered the trade. He took it. And yeah, ever since that, this pawn has been undefended. Let's go ahead and take it. Why not? Force his queen to a worse square. Now we could take here. If knight takes, I can take with the bishop because this is pinned. Still pinned. Yeah, so he gave up a piece for nothing. That's funny. He was playing very cautiously. But he just seemed to fall apart at that point. Yeah, I can just take that. And he resigned. Okay, kind of a short and blunder-filled rapid game. Let's take a look at the computer analysis and see how badly off I was after that opening. Yeah, so I was down a couple of points here, minus 1.7. That's pretty bad. That's usually losing, especially so early on in the game. So it was just a single mistake. It's about even here. This kind of opening with knight c6 and fianchettoing the bishop, this is never going to give an advantage to white in the opening, but it may give some long-term assets that you can play with. It may give you a position you're comfortable with if you play it regularly. But this just gives away a pawn. when I play here. So the right way to continue this kind of position, let's just check this out a little bit. The immediate knight e4. Yeah, I can do what he did. If he takes my knight, I take his bishop. And he could play d5, he could castle. Looks like all these moves are equal. d5, castle, knight h5. It's kind of having trouble deciding which one to do, but they're all about the same, and it leads to an even game, and that's the way to play it. Anyway, so this loses. And then it looks like my second move also here, deciding what to do. Yeah, I thought I would just offer the trade here, but apparently the trade is good for him. I was thinking maybe I could get something against the loose knight here, but he takes, I take, and then what? Then he just castles. I play c5. What about bishop here? Just yeah, he can just go back. I mean, I have a couple moves of development, but I guess it's not worth it. It likes black's position much more than white's. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, it was a mistake, so I shouldn't really expect to get a decent position out of it. So going back to the game, he had an advantage in the range of 1 to 2 points all through this part here. I went here, I went here. He took, and then, yeah, I went this way. He just went back, keeping this kind of advantage. Yeah, it didn't like this blocking of the d pawn either. What would it recommend here? I'd recommend playing d5. Yeah, he got some pressure here with his pawn coming forward, and then it likes knight here. I was wondering if at some point this was ever trapped, but it looks like that never happened. So that was okay. And then here it's about even. No, it's still, here's about even. So this is where, yeah, this is where he loses the pawn. And I should have just taken immediately. I didn't notice the pawn was gone until after I did this. And that gave him a chance to defend it. But then he didn't defend it. And now actually this is much worse because his queen is not really well positioned here, so things just fall apart after this. So it went from, if I had taken it at first, I would have, it would have still been an even game. I'll just go back and show that. So here's the move where he played bishop to b5, pinning my knight and leaving the pawn undefended. So I could take it here, but then he can come out with the queen, putting pressure on my knight. And still advantage to still an advantage to black here. Not a whole pawn advantage, and we're down to just half a pawn advantage. So you know, I would continue to play on, obviously, but since he didn't, since I didn't take, I just kicked his bishop in the game, and he traded. This is still good for him. I take back. And then, yes, now he has time to defend the pawn. So what should he play here? Knight to e5, gaining a tempo on my queen. Trading the bishop. Wow, he can kind of force a queen trade, and I never get to take the pawn after that. So, so if he'd been aware of the danger to his pawn, or if he'd just been aware of the idea of playing all these forcing moves, this would have been trouble. But he was more concerned about shoring up his center, which is a typical kind of mistake I make. You know, it's you pay more attention to the positional demands of the position than the tactical ones, and then after here it really just falls apart. He doesn't have a good queen move. Queen d5 is best according to this. Yeah, he's got this weakness all through here. And I can grab this pawn. So now the tables have turned. I'm a pawn up. And yeah, I wasn't so eager to put the bishop here because he can't kick it back right away. But in this case, I have a way to trade it off. And then I can grab another pawn. Not another pawn here. I can create another pawn weakness here. And maybe I can even win that pawn. Yeah, things just fall apart. Interesting. Okay, well, hope you guys enjoyed this game, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.